Okay, so this was not a planned video, and this is going to be a quick one, but just breaking news, we now have Tropical Storm Laura near the Leeward Islands. They're moving towards Guadeloupe, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico even here. Tropical Storm Laura has winds of 45 miles per hour, believe it or not, and a pressure of 1,008 millibars, which has just been found by Recon. They finally were able to find somewhat of a close center, which I'm going to be showing very soon. Tropical Depression 14 soon going to be becoming Marco very soon, and then we also have what we soon be 99L with a 40% chance of forming there. Let's really quickly take a look at the track that has not been updated. So as you can see, they still show it being a tropical depression, but it hasn't been updated. Now, believe it or not, they actually found the center around here, so a little bit more south of where they thought the center is. So this track is likely to shift south quite a lot, and if we just take the same track, so they found the center a little bit more to the south, which will stay here. So this track then will likely shift the entire track to the south here, the southern tip of that cone here, and that could likely happen. So Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, you guys are still not out of this, and the chances of you getting hurricane or tropical force winds are becoming increasing likely. The southern tip of Florida is still in the cone, but landfall is becoming less likely, although if it strengthens significantly, we could still see this take a turn towards the north earlier than expected. Here's what Recon found on its latest pass, if we're going to be able to get that. Okay, it doesn't look like it's loading, but it has found a peak of 60 mile per hour, 60 knots, so almost 70 mile per hour winds, which is quite significant. But overall, they are going with 45 mile per hours. Here's what Tropical Storm Laura currently looks like on the eye or satellite imagery, with the center right now being located. Let me put black here. Being located, I'm gonna say around here, but somewhere in this general area, but displaced from the mid-level center. I think it's something a little bit like the low-level or the mid-level centers around here. So it's like displaced a little bit like this because of some southerly wind shear. But as it moves on towards the north of Cuba, we could see this start to stack on top of each other, which is where we can start to see significant strengthening. Personally, I think it's more close to 50 mile per hour bench of what Recon found, but that's still to be determined. Tropical storm watches are in those locations, but I do see all those islands here soon getting tropical storm watches, as the center is, let's say, around here, and this is moving pretty much due west, which would bring it pretty much over the islands. If we go back to the National Hurricane Center, it shows it moving. Let's see here. It shows it moving at let's see here. It shows it moving west at 21 mile per hour. So, straight west onto Guadeloupe, a little bit north of Guadeloupe there, which is really unfortunate for those islands. If we look at what it's looking like right now, a little bit less organized than earlier this morning, but still not too bad. We're not seeing the worst of the system approaching Guadeloupe, the Virgin Islands, and then onto Puerto Rico. Convection has slowed down quite significantly, but we will probably see a new blow up of convection. It's been a little bit dispersed with some wind shear and dryer, but it should get its act together. So it's looking a little bit worse right now than earlier today, but I think that's not going to be staying for long. But we are now seeing the system making a very close approach to the Virgin and Leeward Islands there. Now, moving on, we're going to be having a quick check at Recon if it has updated. And okay, so this is what Recon found here, and you can clearly see that we have winds going this way up there. Here, I'm just going to try to show you guys. Winds going more to the south here, and then winds going that way here, and then winds going this way here. So, what does that do? The close center of circulation. Okay, so we do have this close center of circulation here, which is why they were able to, name it a tropical storm. They earlier could not find that close center, and now we've had the confirmation with the low pressure center being around here. So that's confirmed. The highest winds where they found 60 mile per hour or 65 were up there, and around the center we're only seeing 20 to 30 knots here. But they found a center. It's going to start to get more organized now. It has a close center. So that's that. Currently, they're probably gonna maybe do another pass to the north there. So we'll see when that happens. Now let's have a look at the models, which has shifted. If you saw my last update yesterday, every single model was showing it hitting Florida, and now none of the models except one show it hitting Florida. So we've seen a significant change. But now every single model shows it going over Puerto Rico, over the Dominican, Hispaniola, over Cuba, and making landfall somewhere near Alabama or Mississippi there, which is a significant change. Where yesterday we were seeing all the models doing this, and now we're seeing this really having a significant change. But this is going to limit strengthening as it goes over those islands with very high mountains. So it's a good and bad thing at the same time. We're seeing more impacts to those islands, but a weaker storm potentially there. So it's good and bad at the same time. Intensity guidance. Once again, we've seen a significant change towards a weaker storm. Only a couple models. Yesterday, we were having four models bring it to Cat 3, or this morning, now we're only seeing it two models bring it to Cat 4, two models bring it to Cat 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Less than 50% of the models bring it to Cat 1, and overall, the models keep it as a tropical storm here. If you look, most models keep it as a tropical storm. Some models even keeping it as a 45 mile per hour system this whole way through. So really a big change here on what we've been seeing overall with this system. Before I do end off this video, I'm quickly going to be showing the HWRF because they're showing something bad, very bad, happening, and I just want to show you guys because that's why you need to be prepared because it's still not out of the question. For Michael, they were showing a tropical storm landfall and it ended up being a Category 5. Same thing for Florence, same thing for Irma. We've seen multiple storms where they predict a very weak storm and ends up being a significant storm. This is the infrared satellite imagery potential, what it could look like simulated from the HWF. Now, the HWF model tends to overdevelop storms, so just take this with a grain of salt. But it does show it having a big block of convection as it moves through Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, then moving not over Cuba, but right between Cuba and Florida there, and then strengthening potentially to Category 1 a hurricane there as it moves over the Keys, and then further strengthening and actually making landfall as a Category 5 hurricane there near the coast of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. And, that is significant, and it's a rather large system they're showing here. If we change this to the 850 millibar winds, you can see they're predicting a 143 knots, which would bring it over 150 mile per hour, which would put it as a Category 5 or a very strong Cat 4 hurricane. And, it's not right now. National Hurricane Center only predicts a Category 1, and it's the only model predicting this strong of a hurricane. But take it for a grain of salt again. But this is something that could happen, and I just want you guys to know that that's still not of the possibility, although unlikely. The chances for that happening are still not out there, the possibility. If you look at the HMNO and on, my bad, it doesn't really show anything from the system whatsoever there, as you can see. So it's really a significant change, and we see this only making landfall. So really, it's possible. It's possible we see the strong of the system, but at the moment, unlikely. So just take it with a grain of salt and focus mainly on the National Hurricane Center track. Um, but that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching.